Meet Wick. He's not a Silicon Valley millionaire or some crypto genius. He's just a regular guy with a completely average paycheck, sitting at his kitchen table. But on this specific Wednesday night at exactly 11:47 p.m., Wick looks at his laptop screen and realizes something absolutely terrifying. This month, his money actually earned more than he did at his job. Wick just crossed what we call the financial crossover. It's that magical tipping point where your capital starts generating more income than your own efforts. Most people will never, ever reach this day in their entire lives. Not because they don't earn enough, but because they give up just 3 or 4 years too early, before the exact math finally starts working in their favor. Welcome to Wick's Wealth. Today we're breaking down the exact math of how Wick fired his boss. I'll show you why your first 5 years of investing will feel like a complete failure, and why true freedom isn't about buying a mega yacht to show off to strangers. It's about looking your boss in the eye and calmly saying no, knowing your account pays for your independence. To truly understand this crossover, you need to understand how your income actually works. Imagine you have a car that only moves forward when you are physically pressing the gas pedal. That car is your job. You stop pressing because you get sick or tired and the car stops. Now, meet Wick's coworker, Ben. Ben spends absolutely everything he earns. With every promotion, his lifestyle inflates. A new car on credit, a bigger apartment, fancy dinners. Ben's car looks incredibly luxurious, but it only runs on his own daily fuel. Wick plays a completely different game. Every time his paycheck hits his account, before his brain even has a chance to want to spend those dollars, he automates a transfer. A portion goes straight into a separate investment account. No hesitation. He doesn't try to time the market perfectly, and he's not chasing secret, hyped-up stocks. He simply buys broad index funds consistently, month after month. What Wick is actually doing is building a second car. But there's a huge catch. For the first 5 years, this second car looks like it's completely broken. Welcome to the Valley of Death. This is where 90% of people completely break. During these early years of investing, compound interest feels utterly useless and painfully slow. Let's say you invest $500 every single month. 3 years go by. You've sacrificed $18,000 of your lifestyle, but your passive income is a complete joke. It's generating maybe a ridiculous $50 a month. Your brain, which is evolutionarily wired for instant gratification, starts screaming at you. This isn't working. I'm denying myself everything just for pennies. People stare at this flat line on the graph, get deeply disappointed, and pull their money out. They cash out to buy a new car or take a luxury vacation instead. What they fail to understand is the geometry of wealth. The human brain thinks linearly, but capital grows exponentially. When you give up here, you aren't just skipping 5 years of savings. You are amputating the most productive years of compounding that would have exploded at the end. But Wick doesn't stop. He totally ignores the noise and the slow start. He knows that reaching the first $100,000 is the hardest milestone. And suddenly, somewhere around year 10 or 15, a massive shift happens. The tipping point arrives very quietly. The green line on his chart goes to space. This is the year when Wick's dividends and portfolio growth start buying new shares. Faster than Wick can ever buy them with his own salary. Wick's portfolio is now doing 75% of the heavy lifting, while his contributions are only 25%. That second car has finally started its engine. And here is the harsh math that society never wants to show you. The difference between working until you're 65 and retiring at 45 isn't measured by your salary. It is measured entirely by your savings rate. If you only save 10% of your income, you will be forced to work for 51 years. But if you live on half your income and save 50%, you become free in about 17 years. Wick's goal was never an abstract $1 million. His goal was a very specific number. A sum equal to his annual expenses multiplied exactly by 25. Once his portfolio hits this magic number, Wick can withdraw 4% a year forever, without depleting the principal. He won this game not because he earned a massive salary compared to Ben. He won because he ruthlessly controlled his expenses and let time do all the hard work. Then comes the day that justifies every single penny he ever saved. Wick's company announces a major restructuring. His boss calls him into the office. The boss starts talking about tough times and shifting roles, looking closely at Wick. He fully expects to see panic. He expects Wick to beg for his job. But Wick is perfectly calm, not because he doesn't care about the work, because he knows that if this conversation ends in him being fired, his life won't collapse. His rent is already paid, his groceries are paid, his car is paid, and it's all paid for by the money that woke up earlier than he did today. True wealth isn't the ability to buy expensive things to impress people who don't care about you. True wealth is control. It's the absolute power to say no to a toxic boss, to bad conditions, or to forced overtime without even changing the tone of your voice. When your capital generates more than your salary, you are no longer a hostage to the system. You don't have to run out of the building screaming and quitting. You simply start working strictly on your own terms. Meanwhile, Ben is still sitting in gridlock traffic in his expensive car. He's desperately trying to pay off loans for a life that he doesn't even truly own. Wick is sipping his morning coffee, not rushing anywhere, because his time is finally his own. What kind of graph are you building right now? Let me know in the comments below. Tell me which exact stage of the valley of death you are currently surviving in. And don't forget to subscribe to Wicks Wealth to learn the rules of the game long before the game is actually over. See you next time.